Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to create and log a recipe in MyFitnessPal the easiest way I know how. I'm only going to show you with a couple ingredients, but you follow the same steps for any ingredient that you're going to add to a recipe, and I swear it's much easier than it seems. Let's get started. First thing we want to do is open the app, go to Meals, Recipes, and Foods, create a new recipe. We're going to enter the ingredients manually. We're going to name the recipe whatever it is that you're making, and for now, we just want to put the serving size as 1. Then we're going to go to Add Ingredient, and we're going to scan a barcode since we have this bag here from Trader Joe's. Now we can go ahead with the next step of weighing the food to enter the servings. Okay, so I just weighed out that entire bag of cauliflower rice. It came out to 457 grams. So I'm going to take that number and put it into the recipe as the serving size. So I'm going to do that now, changing the serving size to 1 gram. And we have 457. Enter. So that's the first ingredient that we're using in this recipe. The next ingredient that we're using is 2 tablespoons of butter to cook this in. So I'm going to search for food, type in butter. I'm going to do salted because I know this is salted butter. And we can do, let's do this one because it's already entered as 2 tablespoons and that's exactly what this is. So as you can see, we have 2 tablespoons of butter. And then we're going to add that to our ingredients. And then we go on to the next section now that I have all of my ingredients listed. And for now, we're going to write the servings as 1. We're going to change that later, but that's how it's going to be for now. We're going to begin cooking by dropping some of the butter in. We're not going to add the rice cauliflower yet until this butter is nice and melty. Okay, now that our butter is nice and melty and starting to brown a little bit, we're going to add the 457 grams of cauliflower rice, and it's okay if you don't get every little bit. I'm going to let this go for about 8 to 10 minutes, getting my timer going, and we're just going to let this go, and once it's all finished cooking, I'll show you how to log it in the final step. Okay, everything is done cooking. I'm turning my scale back on with the same container from earlier because forget about dishes. So now what we're going to do is get the serving sizes, the amount of grams for this entire recipe. So I have this set to grams. I'm going to take my pan, get everything in there. Let's hope it doesn't spill all over the place because I'm notorious for that. We're doing pretty good so far. Okay, home stretch. Home stretch, no mess, baby. Hashtag home stress. Wait. That was not right at all. Okay, so now I've got every single bit that was in this pan into our Tupperware. So now after cooking, this entire recipe made 406 grams. That includes that entire bag of the cauliflower rice, and it includes the 2 tablespoons of butter that we added to cook with. So if you were doing this with a bigger recipe, same exact thing, you just had more ingredients that went into your pan that are now in your Tupperware that you're measuring out. And if you look at that after it's settled a little bit, it now says there are 408 grams in this entire dish that we made. So now I'm going to go back into the app. I'm going to go open our recipe that we just made. I'm going to edit the recipe. The ingredients are the same, but what we're changing now is the amount of servings. We put 1 just as a filler so we can move on, but now we're going to change the servings to 409 now, because that's the total amount of grams in this entire recipe. So how you're going to log that when you go to actually eat it is anytime you take something out of this, so say I'm going to eat this much, that right there, you can measure out in grams against the servings. So I'll show you how to do that in the next step. It sounds a lot more complicated than it is. Okay, now we're going to portion this out for lunch. So the first thing you want to do is tare. We want to get this scale to say 0. And now whatever I take out is going to be what I'm going to eat, and that's what we're going to record. So let's take out, that looks about right. I'm eyeballing this based on like how much rice I usually eat with a meal, and I'm doing that because of the amount of volume Like, I know this isn't going to be as calorically dense as rice, but it's still the amount that's going to make me feel full. This came out to 85 grams. So now what you do with that, open up your handy dandy app. Once you have your app open, you click on the recipe that you logged in your entry. So if you look, I have the recipe right here in my lunch. I have 1 serving for now because I didn't know the amount I was going to eat. I'm going to change it to 85 grams because that's what's on my plate. So if you look at this now, according to the app, I'm going to be having 4.3 grams of carbs, 1.7 grams of protein, and 7.1 grams of fat. That's what's in this entire thing on my plate. So every time you take a serving from a recipe, if you log it as the grams, you're going to get a more accurate picture of what you're eating. And it's a much, much better way to be concise, figure things out in the details, and adjust as you go along. And that's it. That is how you log a recipe, my girl. All right, here is my final product for my meal. I took the recipe from the cauliflower rice, added 85 grams of that, and then I took the recipe from my pulled pork, added 150 grams of that, and I made an entire meal based off of 2 recipes that I had in MyFitnessPal. Yes. So much yes. Holy shit. Woo! It's good, but that rice is, woo! She's spicy. She got some kick. We're gonna get along real nice.